part of the grant gives us oh crap, we've got to get that. We've got to have that meeting next week because Nikki's going to expect us to get something done, and that's helpful. I mean, because there's so, I always tell people I have this metaphor of the crisis sea. I can only take care of all the crises that fill up the ocean of my existence. I can only take care of the top 6 feet where the light hits, in a given day. And, so you've got to figure out a way to get your problem up to the top of my crisis sea so I can deal with it. And, being involved in grants like this and you guys sending us those emails and keeping it on our front burner, it really helps, especially in the beginning when you're struggling and you're trying stuff and it doesn't work. You're racking your brain for ideas, and once you have some success breeds success, and you can kind of be sort of self-sustained. I'm really grateful for what you guys did for us.
I guess I could share my own personal history. So, as you know, I was diagnosed with colon cancer last year in August. I had been having a few issues, and I say bad nurse to myself because I didn't really realize that any of this was going on. I had been having weird colored stools and different form stools for about 2 months before that, but I had been having pelvic pain and lower back pain, and I thought it was just something to do with my hysterectomy I had previously, so I just chalked it off to that, so I wasn't even really worried about it. But then as things started progressing, I would go into the ER for the bleeding and the pain, and I'd get a CT and they tell me nothing's wrong. Well, after 3 times of that happening, I told them something's wrong, I need something done. So they sent me out for the colonoscopy and the EGD, and when they did the colonoscopy, they found the cancer. And they said it's weird because I was only 44 at the time, so they said they don't usually start screening for it at that age. And the doctor had figured I was a stage 3B, so he had figured I probably already had cancer for 8 years at that point based on how much the cancer had progressed. So it doesn't matter how old you are, if something doesn't seem right, it doesn't hurt to ask for testing. Just because you think it's something that only old people get, no, young people are getting it too. So, but then I did do my chemotherapy and I finished, and I'm free of cancer now. So I'm an advocate for patients to get your screening done. It's not as bad as it seems. If I could do it, you can do it.
When I start having these conversations with my patients, I tend to actually start talking about colonoscopy, and they get a lot of resistance, especially with, like I mentioned, with my male patients. But when I start talking about this option, we start discussing how it opens up a doorway for conversation. We start discussing about how important colorectal cancer is, how important early detection of it is, and how it's not something that if you wait until you start having symptoms, you're already having a lot of problems. And so when I start talking about this, after we have a few conversations about doing like a Cologuard or some type of a stool testing, all of a sudden they're like, let's just get the colonoscopy done and get it over with. But the Cologuard option has got me at least 10 or 15 colonoscopies that I would not have got if it wasn't because of that option. Have you ever thought about doing a colonoscopy? Hard no. That's the end of the conversation. But this gives me another avenue to keep that conversation door open a little longer and get just a little more thought process into it. And like, I may not get the screening done on this visit, but my next visit, they come back in and I bring it up again. Now they're like, I've been thinking about it. No, let's just do it.
Definitely, yes. They do have consistent visits, and they've been in maybe 4 times, and we've missed. And they've even had an annual wellness visit, and no one updated the care gap. Somebody that's 47 that's in for a sore throat, well, typically that person isn't going to come in maybe for another year if they're not somebody that's used to doing annual wellness visits or coming in for annual labs, or anything else. So you might, I think that's just a matter of saying, hey, if we have a few minutes, would you mind if I just update some of your care gaps here? Let's go over, like, your last mammogram was whatever. Do you want us to get you scheduled for that today? And, it can take less than a minute. They were just in for a cough. It's like, well, but still, when are you going to capture them again? There's one lady that, I've just been following up with her, and she said to me yesterday, gosh, I'm so thankful that you're calling me and care, because people want to be cared for. And sometimes it's just a matter of a phone call, like, hey, it's me again. I'm just checking in on you. How are you doing? Is it better? And sometimes that's just, yeah, even with screenings, it's like, well, we do care.